Boogie Beatdown coming at you for UFC Vegas 105. Paul, Cody, and Gabby coming with you. It's raining here in Nova Scotia. Gabby
Surprise,
ref-
surprise.
Gabby refuses to go outside and do her business, and she just wants to be cuddled. Um, yeah, it is what it is.
Hmm.
They're like, "Oh, that dog's dangerous." It's like, well, not really.
Don't look dangerous to
It's
me.
a lot of this. It's a lot of this. She's a sweetheart, but the energy can be a little bit crazy sometimes. As you guys know from watching these streams, the week started well with PFL. Octagon. I still think I was right, but was probably overinvested in that Duric kid. Even though I thought he should have got the decision, it is what it is. Been running hot, so gave a whole bunch back. And the UFC kind of like hit or miss, but we're here to talk about the UFC. How was your week, Code?
Yeah, overall, like you said, mixed bag of results. PFL was good. One championship was good. BKFC was bad. BYB was bad. Not that I had much on it. There was another one that was bad. Yeah, maybe the Octagon. It doesn't matter. That one actually didn't have overexposure as well. But yeah, UFC side of things, it's like again the props were no good. Like I felt like I had some good reads on some of them. Some of them got close, but ultimately didn't end up cashing on the prop side of things. And then on the parlay side of things, yeah, not terrible. As a whole, I think there was 12 fights on the card. I think I went 9-3, 8-4. Like the picks were okay. It's just you got to get that right order. But that's what we're here to talk about. There's a couple fights that you got wrong, or even a couple fights that we got right, where it's like you're splitting hairs, man. Like one guy does one thing different and it changes the total outcome of the fight. So, to get them all right as a whole is going to be difficult. But yeah, you're going to have some bounce back weeks and some cold weeks and some hot weeks. And I would say this is just like a below mediocre, not the worst week I've ever had, certainly, but could have been a lot better had like Gurul as a whole. That one win changes everything, right? Then I hit the top 4 lines, and then we're laughing. Wins the first round, gets iced in the second. Those are just the bounces that you sometimes run into. So you like to laugh and have a good time when you're doing good. When you're doing bad, you just got to also laugh, shake your head, and then figure out what went wrong. So that's what we're here to do, Paul. What went wrong on the great UFC recap show?
Yeah, I mean PFO went so well that I was playing with house money. So um thankfully that happened. But like there's some bounces, obviously. The Bakar, I had under 2.5 in the Bakar fight, which was not looking very good until Bakar injured himself at the end of round 2, quit on his stool, and did not come out for the third round. So yeah, when you get bad decisions, like you gotta accept the fact that it's like, well, you got kind of lucky in some spots too. But we will start in the UFC, where maybe the worst bet that I've made all year. Vanessa, it was never, ever Vanessa Demopoulos. Alan Carr, if you bet Alan Carr, very sharp bet. She dominated pillar to post, wrestling, really kind of doing whatever the hell she wanted in there. It was not close. It was not competitive. It was a horrible bet through and through. You got to call it like you see it. And sometimes stats lie, but 12 minutes of control time, 4 or 5 on takedowns, literally everything about it. It's just like right from the get go, 4 minutes. It's just like as soon as that fight started, she got the takedown and held the control. I was just like, why? Oh, this is just you just got to take your lickings. This is just a horrible way to start a UFC card. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it was women's MMA, first fight of the card. It wasn't like I think anybody was super heavily invested in it, but it was an L all the same. And then I echo a lot of the same sentiments for different reasons. Yeah, bad read. Vanessa Demopoulos did nothing, but I'm the idiot at fault here in that I can't get a Vanessa Demopoulos fight right to save my life. I faded her against Jinyin Frey, Kanako Murata, and Emily Ducote. I truly believe in my heart she lost all 3 fights despite winning all 3 of them by decision, 2 of them by split. I think she's a bum. And then I make this idea in my head that apparently they're just going to give her wins all the time. Then why not back her? So I backed her against Jacqueline Amorim. Well, she got armbarred, but the other girl cheated. She grabbed her glove. So I back her again. I never back this girl. I think she's awful. I think she's losing these decisions. The judges somehow give it to her. She jumps into the commentator's arms like she's so elated. I don't like her. And yet I'm putting money on her, Paul. What is wrong with me? But Alencar, I just honestly undervalued Alencar. On the Contender Series, she looked awful. UFC debut, I thought she looked awful. A strong grappler, but she's a little bit older. And what other tricks is she adding to her game? But lots of tricks. You saw Gilbert Burns in her corner. You see she's getting quality work over in South Florida. Her wrestling looked a lot better. Her striking looked a lot better. She was beating Vanessa Demopoulos with her boxing and then just mixing in easy money takedowns where she was able to grind her up. The only thing I could say is in the second round, she grabbed the cage a whole lot. And Chris Tognoni, who did this in other fights throughout the night, doesn't do shit. He just like taps your finger. You grab the cage again, he taps your finger. You grab the cage some more, he taps your finger. It's like, take a fucking point, man, or give them a stern warning. It wouldn't have mattered in this fight at all. It doesn't change anything. It's that you'll see Tognoni progressively do the same shit in other fights where it's like, what the fuck are you doing, man? But that's it. Shitty MMA fight to start off the night. Not particularly exciting. Yeah, but we were on the wrong side of that one, 100%.
Yeah, probably the worst bet. Probably the worst bet I've made. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just like one of those ones. It's just like, yeah, you're just dead wrong on this one. So just take ownership, move on, and hopefully Salty Balls and Buddy go to get over 2.5 rounds. You brought that one up on the prop show on Friday, and outside of Salty Balls landing a big shot at the end of round or in round 3, I'd say it was relative for a heavyweight over 2.5 at a pick'em price. I'd say it was relatively stress free. Budai fights that way. Budai hugged him, used that 50 pounds of advantage over him. Props to Salty Balls for getting in there, fighting the much bigger man, short notice. It was a tall task, and now he gets to go down to his actual. Don't lick the microphone. Now he gets to go to his actual weight class at 205 pounds. We saw him on LFA. We weren't all that impressed, but respect where respect is due. That was a tough spot. Now he's got his opportunity. Now he actually gets a full camp, and we'll see what Salty Balls can do moving forward.
Yeah, we were on Salty Baliev. Considering his short notice and all those things, like he actually could have won this fight. Just taking consideration the first round, the first 3 minutes of it, he's winning the first 3 minutes. He's faster than Budai. He lands with a couple good combinations. He's got those little distance finder leg kicks. It's the last 2 minutes of that first round. Budai finally gets him up against the cage and then kind of unloads on him. I thought the first round was really close. You can make an argument for both guys, but I did believe that Budai did more in the last 2 minutes with the cage control and a couple big punches. Second round's Budai all day long. Third round, Salty Baliev drops him. It doesn't drop him, but he certainly causes him to do the stanky leg. And then after that, he also does nothing the rest of that round. So the first round, he starts hot, fades late. Third round, he starts hot, fades late. All three judges have it 29-28, meaning they all gave him, I think it was all that third round because of the visible damage that was caused. But in the first, it's like he got outstruck 17-14. He had some good combinations. He was doing some good work. That one's close. The third round, yes, you could have knocked him out, but even without the knockout, he could have, in theory, just done a little bit more in that first round, won it, and won the third and won this fight. So considering he's ultra short notice, moving up a weight class, making his UFC debut, yeah, Martin Budai did not have a good performance. He damn near lost this thing. Yes, it's unanimous. Yes, he gets the W, but it's a lot of cage control. It's a lot of holding this guy up the cage. And for Uran, when he goes back down to 205, those same punches he was landing on a guy twice his size probably do put the guy down. So exciting to see what he could do at 205. Low ceiling, I think, but one of these athletic guys that has decent striking. And if they told me he was fighting Bredson Ribeiro next week, sign me up. I'd love a fight like that. So he'll find a spot on the roster.
Yep. Loma defeats Nunes. Unanimous decision. I mean, she didn't look like a -1,000. You can squabble over who won. Obviously, Nunes thought that she won the decision. At the end of the day, you did not feel good about Loma on any sort of ticket in that fight when you're paying that type of price tag. Yeah, I mean, Loma was a horrible bet.
Yeah, you skipped over Victor Henry and Pedro Falcao, but
I'm going through, I guess, the order on Tapology, maybe, or we'll hop back to it, bro.
yeah, no, all good. Yeah, Loma Luke is a -1,000, so you expect her to go out there and have some brilliant performance. And I guess the talks where she could tire out Estela Nunez, hasn't fought in 2 years, has a bad gas tank, and Loma's shown off a little bit of submission game of her own. Like maybe she catches Estela with a submission, but like yeah, none of that looked probable. Loma is it's difficult to say. Like she's got a well-known battle with depression, and then so sometimes you see her in the cage and she's full of confidence and she's throwing big combinations and she's actively shooting takedowns, and sometimes you see her just kind of like go through the motions, almost like she's self-doubting herself in real time. And this is a fight with Estela Nunez where she just really showed no sense of urgency. The first round, I think she's winning the first round on the feet. She's landing better combinations. She's landing just, outworking her, landing some more volume. But the last minute, she throws like the shittiest takedown attempt, botched takedown, and ends up with Stella Nunez on top of her. So, my heart, I gave Luke Boumet the first round, but Estela Nunez damn near stole it back, if not did steal it back, with a minute of top control, and she had a couple good spots standing, I suppose. I gave it Luke Boumet, but I can see that round being up in the air. The second round, she's getting controlled up against the cage for 3 minutes. Finally, she gets the takedown, and it's like this leg lock at no point is close. Like it's not a knee bar, it's not a heel hook, it's a straight ankle lock. And Estela Nunez has been clamped on this thing, just holding it. She's not cranking it, she's not torquing it, she's not trying to improve the position on it. She's just holding this thing in place. And Luke Boumet just sits on her ass with her leg fully extended, just sitting there puzzled. Doesn't smash the knees, doesn't try to posture up, doesn't try to land any ground and pound, just sits there on her ass. That round to me was very tough to score because Luke Boumet quite literally did nothing. She absolutely did nothing. Whereas Estela also largely did nothing. What's holding onto a leg? It's not a real submission threat. What's just holding onto a leg? How does that win you a round? But the fact that really nothing happened, the first round is also pretty contentious. This is a -1,000. How do you feel good about it? And then, of course, yeah, the third round, Luke Boumet finally does get the takedown. It's not off the cage. It's kind of, center of the ring, so she's got space to operate with, and she just has a much better third round, like 3.5 minutes of top control, lands the better strikes, certainly wins that round. But how do you score the other two? So in the Discord, and I think all the people in the Discord, they're obviously hardcore fight fans, because how else would they have ended up there? It's split. A lot of people think Nunez might have been up 2-0 going into that third round. You go to places like Sherdog, they got Luke Boumet winning all 3 rounds. All 3 guys got her winning 30-27 across the board. So it feels like it'll be split. It feels like it could be greasy. As soon as they announced the 130-27, you knew you had it for Luke Boumet, so she wins the decision. But -1,000 women's MMA, I don't know. And for Luke Boumet moving forward, she 100% is a 105-pound fighter. That division just doesn't exist. So at 115, like even rudimentary girls like Estela Nunez, who are now 0-5 in the UFC, can out-muscle her up against the cage and can have some success with some top control and can, batter her with some legs, some kicks from distance. So very problematic if you're going to bet Luke Boumet going forward. And for Nunez, she's the most talented 0-5 fighter in the UFC since John Alessio or Jesse Ronson. But she's 0-5 nonetheless, and hard to imagine they'll keep her on the roster.
Hundo P. All right, we move on down. We got Victor Henry, or move back down the card, the fight that I skipped over in my haste. But Henry defeats Falcao. I was on the round 3 prop. I thought there's maybe a small glimmer of hope on that for a half second. Rocked him a bit in round 3. Falcao was looking obviously a little bit tired. But yeah, I mean, pretty easy work for the most part for Henry. Falcao is just so one-dimensional. He's kind of like a fighter from the past. Not sure where that guy will go from here. Gabby is trying to get down. So why don't you take it away there, Coates?
Yeah, this one was a weird one. We had Victor Henry, needed Victor Henry if we were going to have an okay week, and hoping for an over. But yeah, the over price wasn't all that good. Victor Henry, I'm sat at like -206, 207 most of the week. And then come fight time, like it drops 25 points. So it's like, uh-oh, what have I missed? First round, Henry looks good. I mean, he's flowing out there. He's got the better striking, obviously, lands a beautiful counter right hand and drops Pedro Falcao. Gets on top, Falcao recovers, and then he lets him up, which seems like the right move in hindsight, because it's like, oh, you just had him rocked, you're clearly kicking his ass on the feet, why not let him back up? But he lets Falcao up in a position he otherwise could have just got on top of him, secured this round 100%. He lets him back up, which is fair. There's a knockdown, and Falcao starts to unload, like he's just throwing murderous hooks. And it's not like Henry's not winning these striking exchanges, but he's getting hit. He's getting hit with shots he otherwise would not be taking if Falcao was on his back right now. Victor Henry scores a takedown on Falcao before the knockdown, right? It's like a beautiful little boom, boom, hits the leg, causes him to off balance, and then takes him down. Like effortless. Sits on top of him for 35 seconds and then stands back up and backs away. Kicks his leg, 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 lets him stand up. After the knockdown, it's the same thing. He does that twice in the first round. He does it in the second round as well. Why he's not just getting on top of Falcao, I can't tell you. But every time he lets him up, Falcao gets up and starts to just unload on him again. It's like it's making it a close fight. Like, why are you not just like securing some top position? You were a 35 fight veteran, fought all over Japan, fought numerous top level talents. You've been subbed once in your entire career. But it's his last fight against Charles Jourdain. So in his mind, he didn't want to mess around with the grappling, which I think took away from him. The longer this thing went, the more he looked 37. The first round, he didn't look 37. Second round, it was like, okay, he's slowing down. The third round, he looked awful. And he's getting hit by these big Pedro shots. Thankfully for him, Pedro Falcao, it translates to Peter Hawk. Just not good. Just not good. Like, he tired as well. He's swinging large shots. He's getting hit. I thought Henry won the fight cleanly enough. But it was another one of these spots that, like, it wasn't easy money. Like, he was getting hit. He was putting in some bad spots. His takedown defense looked rock solid. Josh Barnett was giving him really good advice between rounds and keeping him in it. But again, it's like he goes through the motions in some spot. He said it. He said it best in his post fight. He's like, I'm not a power guy. I'm a volume guy. And I was really trying to knock this guy out because I don't want to have these records for striking numbers without having a body in front of me. Like, I want to knock these guys out. But the bottom line is he is a volume guy. So, you can't brawl. You just got to outwork them. Be smart. People don't like it. People are going to boo it. But like what Lerone Murphy did in the main event, like that's winning, dude. That's winning without, running away like Calvin Kattar versus, what's his name? The Moroccan Devil. Yusuf Zalal. That's not fighting. That's just running away. But you can fight and move your feet. You don't have to just stand in the pocket and exchange with the guy because you got to knock him out. But all the same, Henry won. That's what we were hoping for. So that's it. Got to move on from there. Take it.
All right. McKee, Frunza. We're all over this one. McKee money line. I even got a little bit of like fight starts round 3. No. Once I started seeing that eye getting damaged, I was just like, that looks like something they're going to have a doctor come in and look at. So grab some of that live. But yeah, McKee was pretty sharp bet. Lots of knockdowns. Absolutely, landed at will. But it's like, you do wonder if they didn't stop that. It's like if Frunza was able to continue to throw, what was actually going to happen in round 2? Maybe more of the same. But fortunate, I suppose, to a degree for us to get out of there before they started round 2. Because Frunza started after a horrible start for Frunza, he definitely started to land a little bit later in the round. But what an absolute war, 5-minute fight. And just a certified, banger here. 43 significant strikes, but the 3 knockdowns. And that eye damage is just like, okay. It was like we kind of called it on the Dogger Pass this week. It's like vet lesson, tough guy to knock out in Reese McKee. And yeah, everything I saw from Frunza on tape is just like, yeah, he's knocking out absolute certified bums. But like if you want to just have a striking affair with McKee, he can hang. He hung with Chidi and Jaquani in those types of ranges. So why not Frunza? So a little pat on the back, a little Barry Horowitz for both of us this week.
Yeah, well, Riz McKee's got a 78-inch reach, right? So I think that's what Frunza didn't realize in training camp was how long Rizma is going to be because he's throwing some nice heat himself. His boxing combinations for Frunza awful. His boxing is awful. He himself is awful, but he has power. I cannot take that away from him. He's got some strong shots. So Riz McKee is just standing at range and then letting him walk into these jabs. He hit him with 3 or 4 jabs to start the fight, and you can see Frunza's eye is already swelling shut from 3 or 4 jabs. Then those power shots start coming in and start dropping him. He gets dropped 3 times in the first 90 seconds. To his credit, he gets back up, obviously, all 3 times. And it's like his brain just like reset back to normal. Like he's fine. Like he's getting better as the round goes, despite this insurmountable amount of damage. It's not the eye that stopped the fight. It was his lip. His lip got split open like clean. You could see like all types of nasty. Dana posted the post-fight picture on it, but it was like, oh my God. So I guess they probably came in to look at the eye, but when they physically got to him, they were like, oh my God, it's Alistair Overeem versus Yarazino Rosenstruck all over again. Like, we can't allow this to continue. His lip's physically going to fall off. So they called it. And then as a Riz McKee guy, woo, I'll take it. Yeah, I won. And for a guy that scored 3 knockdowns in the first round and caused that amount of damage, I got to get a 10-8 round out of that, right? But all the same, this thing probably wouldn't go on the scorecards, like win or lose. Riz was going to get bombed on in that second round because this Romanian guy was really tough. I said the only thing he's got is power. He's got toughness. That guy's tough. He's got power. This is bare knuckle boxing. He can be legit. But in MMA, he's just like super limited. Brawler, depending on who you match him with, he could have some fun fights. But Daniel Frunza, not all that good. So yeah, Riz McKee, good to hit the first underdog on a personal note, first underdog of the card. And yeah, he seemed to be taking action all week. I think people wised up to him. What is his ceiling? I don't know. This was a fun fight, not necessarily the most technical. He showed good grappling against Chidi Jaquani. Here, he didn't even really try to use his grappling at all. He might just be another one of these guys that's, in it for a good time and to thrill the fans and all this. But to his credit, I think he was also 0-4 in the UFC. This is his first UFC win, man. Yeah, he's 0-4 in the UFC. First UFC win after that much adversity, after that much coming up short. Well-deserved. And in spectacular fashion, got a $50,000 bonus for it as well. Dion Barbosa versus Daniel Belbita. There's really nothing to talk about here. Daniel Belbita basically said it herself before the fight. She doesn't really want to fight anymore. Doesn't see herself competing, win or lose. It's just like a bad mindset. You knew she was going to have a grappling deficiency, but maybe she's been working on it on her time away. Maybe she knows, the same as everybody else knows, that her ground game is clearly what's lacking. But no, it just doesn't even matter. It's like the second Dion's like, okay, time to go to the ground now. They're on the ground. And once they're on the ground, it's just like effortless work. At one point, she looked like she's going to tap from the arm triangle, like her hands up to tap. And then she immediately goes to like under the leg, basically, defending it, make yourself wide and defend it. And then immediately just taps. It was like there was a moment of like, I'm just going to quit. And then like, no, I'm going to fight through this thing. I can still breathe a little bit. And then it was like, no, that's right. I don't really want to do this anymore. So
you moved on to the next
night.
Fight.
Yeah, bad night for Romanian fighters. But that's all you can say. No more Diana Belbita in the UFC. And Dion gets a quick little win.
I didn't know that you moved on to the next fight. Well, there's the graphic there. Gabby finally had built up the courage to go to the bathroom. Not that anybody cares, but the rain can be scary for people, or for dogs at least. Yeah. I mean, we were in the Discord. I was in the Discord earlier this week talking about, came across the clip of Belbita not being willing to, already having both feet out the door. She said that she's going to retire multiple times. And yeah, it's kind of like I'm kind of proud of myself, Cody, because me, CF dot model, always looking to try to take those big underdog shots on women's MMA, and I resisted this one, even though the number kept climbing. And I was just like, this girl doesn't even want to be in there; she wants to be an Instagram model. And her best weight class was at 115 pounds. She looked completely out-muscled, completely outgunned. When the fight got taken to the mat, and generally it was just straight up curtains for Diana Belbita, who, I mean, I guess she's starting the gym now. That's the plan.
I doubt it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough look. I don't know how popular it's going to be, but I wish her luck in her next endeavor.
She's 28 years old, right? So I'm going to own my own gym and teach, and it's like it's a big endeavor. You see it all the time now. It's like, I'm a life coach. It's like, but you're 24. You don't know fuck all about life. How are you a life coach? How are you teaching people about their lives? You're not married and you don't have kids. What do you know? But Belbita, she's a nice person. I'm sure there's other things she can do. She can have a social media career of sorts. I don't know. She can provide some type of commentary, but for the most part, yeah, she opens up a gym. It'll be just a local little gym, that makes enough money to keep the lights on. I don't think you're going to be hearing Diana Belbita run some powerhouse academy anytime soon. But we've spent too much time on this one. It was a nothing fight. Let's be real.
Well, we didn't spend all that much time on it, to be perfectly honest. You did, but thanks
No,
for.
I said let's move on. You were gone. You took your dog out. I finished the last fight. It went quiet. I looked on
I
the
mean,
and so I went on, and then you brought up all the same points about how Diane Balbia was talking about retiring, and then it became a long conversation. But I want to save that conversation for Torrance Finney because that's who I need to be wasting breath on. My
brother,
boy.
I got nobody out here. All right, so it's you know, I got to. Dogs gotta go. Dogs gotta go.
Yeah, that's fine.
The show goes on. We got Torrance Finney taking on Robert Valentin. I ended up adding Torrance Finney by KO late. Not by not late in the fight, but ended up adding that prop, and it was never that. Here's the thing, though. And this is going to be an unpopular take because I was like scanning social media last night, and I mean, Wolf, look at the stats. The stats on the significance: 4 significant strikes, but 13 minutes of control time.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it doesn't
It's
look
all
pretty.
well and good. I mean, unless you're Tony Weeks, who, God, what a scorecard that was. I went on social media last night to be like, let's see what everyone's saying about Torrance Finney, and you got some popular kind of troll accounts and stuff like that, taking shots, saying to cut him and stuff. Hot take, Cody. We're going to get value on Torrance Finney next time out. Everyone absolutely hates this guy now.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't exactly the prettiest of
No.
performances, that's for sure. But it was the kind of performance that you were expecting. I had Finney on the top line, and I don't regret it. He fought exactly how I thought he would fight. Did I think that he might be able to hold him down for longer as a period? Yes, for sure. Did I hope that he'd be able to get him in a compromising situation, TKO, kind of like he did in his last fight in the Contender Series? 100%. I had that TKO prop as well. But you knew that this is what he was going to do, just shoot repetitive takedowns up against the cage, pick him up, slam him, try to get on top and try to do some work. Valentin's another one of these. He fights at 185, but he is a big guy, man. He's 6'2", and you did see it in there. It's like he's noticeably way larger than Finney. Finney can't strike with him for a prolonged period because of the size difference. So what else can he do but shoot? Herein lies where he runs into a problem. Like Torrance Finney, good guy, state champion wrestler, and played football and small little gym. Sometimes goes out to Fusion XL in Florida for 2 weeks. He's not training with the right group of people at all. Like he's already by far the best guy in his gym. His number one training partner in his gym is Trevor Peake. Trevor Peake is a 145-pound fighter now. He's dropping down from 55 to 45 and has absolutely zero wrestling. And that's his top training partner. His other training partners include absolutely nobody, a bunch of amateur fighters. So you can't just be the big dog in the gym all the time. When he goes up to Fusion, he's getting some better work out there, but Fusion's a trash gym as well. Talk about it all the time. You're like the 5th or 6th best gym in Florida. Why would you choose there? So Finney's at a crossroads. His wrestling, it's not elite, but it's good. It's good enough to win fights at middleweight. But his grappling is blue belt level. He's not passing guard. He's not holding you down. As far as his wrestling goes, it's all double legs. It's all pick you up and slam you off against the cage. He really has no single leg. He really has no inside trip. He really has no outside trip. He has no throws. He has no rear waist body lock. Do you know how many times he could have just ducked his head under and got a rear waist body lock on him, dragged him to the ground, put one hook in? Couldn't. You know how many times he could have taken the back? He sees it. He does not want to take the back because he knows if he takes the back, he's going to lose position, end up on his back, himself lose the position. In the second round, he actually did go for a back take with a minute left. Goes way too high, falls right off the back. Valentin ends up on top. Valentin lands some shots. Round ends. That's what made the second round close, is him going for that back take with a minute left when he could have just neutralized him. In the third round, he's tired. He can't get the takedowns. He gets outworked. It's a 29-28 all day long. But for Finney, you can't tell me that if this guy didn't link up with Habib in Islam he's 26 years old. You give this guy 2 years with an actual team, go to Fight Ready MMA. Not going to go to the Fighting Nerds likely, but go to a camp where guys are going to come up with a great game plan. They're going to show you legitimate skills, and you're going to be able to work with some of the best guys. It's no trash to his coaches. He had a guy, it was a charity thing. Like basically you sponsor him, you're a good guy, you get to be one of my cornermen. And his other buddy, Matt, just his local jiu-jitsu coach. The guy was like this the whole time in the corner. Good job, Terrence. Keep going, Torrance. Like, where was the direction? Where was the sense of urgency? Where was the anything? I get it's hard to strike when you're that small at the weight class. I get it. You know, I appreciate he stuck to his game plan, but you can stick to the game plan and do something with it. And my worry is I truly believe he has the work ethic and the weird shortness. It's going to work for him. And like you said, people just hate him now. There's going to be value on him next week. I truly believe he could be a fringe 15 contender. He might even be a fringe bottom level top 10 guy someday. But he would no chance. He would really, really, really need to change his surroundings and just get with a group of guys that are going to push him hard, show him new stuff, get with Killcliff, get with ATT, get with... Listen, there's not just like one particular gym that you have to go to. There's options, but hanging out in Chattanooga, Tennessee, in a small town surrounded by a couple of your buddies is not going to get you past where you are right now. And I think that's what Dana's point was. On the first fight on the Contender Series, Yuri Panfarov is a bum, and he took some damage in that first round. It's like, kid, you won, but I'm not giving you a contract. The second one with Cam Roston, it looked just like this fight, Paul. Giant guy that he takes down 10 times, but he can't do anything with, takes damage in that fight.
Yeah.
And then the third one, he's taking on just an absolute shouldn't even be on the Contender Series, this absolute crap of an opponent, and he looks good against him, but that doesn't erase everything else, you know? You take 2 years off. Like, I'd like to see him fight every week, don't get me wrong, but for your own potential, for your own career, take at least 8 months, you know, take at least some time, but then get in a gym and be working with these guys. Lifting weights is fine. Doing cardio is fine. Ragdolling nobody in the gym over and over again and feeling good about yourself. You can do that until fight gets booked, and then get your ass somewhere for 8 to 12 weeks and grind and improve. I love Torrance Finney, man. Salt of the earth guy. Very, very, very good guy. I don't regret in the slightest bit putting him at the top ticket. But going past this, there's not a whole lot of Robert Valentines. If they gave you a Brad Tavares, what do you think happens? You know, like there's levels to it, and he's going to be kind of up Schitt's Creek. The 30-27 scorecard, okay? Let me just say this. Tony Weeks is 68 years old. He's a boxing referee. He doesn't referee MMA fights. He referees boxing fights. He judges boxing fights. He's 68 years old. Why he's judging an MMA fight, I could not tell you. But if you go over to boxing 4 or 5 years ago, Tony Weeks is one of the best. He's a Hall of Famer. This guy's a tenured guy who's done championship bouts. The last 2 years, it's all complaints about how he's botching all of these fights. Okay, I don't know if he's getting dementia. I know people a lot younger than him with dementia. But what the fuck was he watching that you would score that fight 30-27 for Valentin? What could you possibly be watching? Look, Paul's got the stats for that first round. You got those stats up still?
No.
I understand that Torrance Finney didn't do anything. I get it. But that first round, you mean to tell me that a guy, Valentin, landed 6 significant strikes and got controlled for 4 minutes and 34 seconds, taken down 5 times? Well, you'd say, well, he got 6 strikes and the other guy got 0. Does slamming a guy not mean anything? Does picking up a guy and throwing him on his backside, does that not count for any type of damage? I don't know. The guy's absolutely quacked. And so it made me got thinking. I was like, holy shit, he's 68 and he's doing this job where 20-year-old men rely on him to get it right. And there's just no accountability. So I'm like, how old is the rest of them? And they're not all that old, but like Saul Diamato's in his late 50s. Like Chris Lee's in his 50s. Like all these guys are old. They're old men making poor decisions about shit they ain't know about. And I don't mean to say like old in the sense like 50 is not old at all. 68 to be a referee, fair. But it's the same way you complain about, you know, oh, is the president, are you too old to be the president? Are you too, why is it that a generation that should be retired is making the decisions for these guys all the time? And is it a money thing? What do these judges bring to the table? Why is it not ex-fighters? Why is it not trained guys? Why is it not people that it's like, yeah, I go to the gym every single day and I learn new techniques? No, it's guys that haven't been to the gym in fucking 3 decades, that watch boxing, that show up. They don't know what the positions are on the ground. They don't know what a submission attempt is. They're fucking clueless. And we got to rely on them getting it right. So just trash, man. Absolute trash. And then as a betting product, they get it wrong, and you should have won this fight and you didn't, and it's a close decision and you got it wrong. Like I don't like it. What's the answer? I don't know. I think you completely overhaul all the judges, all of them gone. Have Chris Lieben on, have Frank Trigg on, have the guys that have a good track record, or have at least accomplished something at this level and done something. And then in terms of, we watched Octagon MMA this week, they do open scoring. I used to hate open scoring. Now I'm in favor of it. Let them know. Could you imagine if they would have announced after that first round that Valentin would have won the round? The place would have fucking gasped. And Tony Weeks would have sat there like a fucking idiot that he is and realized to himself,
oh crap,
I just shit my diaper. Maybe I should leave the arena. So fuck that guy, man. Fuck that guy and the horse he rode in on. Torrance Finney gets the win.
Ode Osborne gets the win. Garul gets the takedown round 1, gets control time. I talked about Osborne just being able to use those long range weapons, speed advantage. He had like a 9-inch reach advantage. If he fought smart, I figured that he was going to have some success. Didn't add it pre-flop, but during round 2, like about a minute into round 2, I was just like, all right, now Ode's cooking. He's doing what I was hoping he would do here. Got some plus 275. I don't know. I think, flyweight fight, those odds. I think the entire fight was lined essentially based off of like what their records look like. Ode 12-8, but it's like most of those fights are in the UFC. Garul undefeated, all of that type of stuff. Giving up a lot of intangibles. It was good for Ode to get back on track. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is the one that killed it being a real good night was Garul, because otherwise, I mean, in terms of parlays, we were doing some good action, but the Garul one definitely set us back. Flyweight fight, Paul. Actually, you nailed this one. I really should have listened to you. And trust me, when I'm clicking money to put money on Garul, every time I would click it, you would pop up in my head, right? Because you not only did you tell me, yeah, you're like Ode Osborne's
it's a flyweight fight.
Flyweight fight. Ode's got twice the amount of pro experience as this guy, like 20 pro fights, most of which are in the UFC. But you specifically said, well, I just think Ode's probably going to knock him out. You kept saying you think Ode's going to knock him out. Not just he has more experience, he's longer, he's faster, but like he's gonna catch this guy who's undefeated and never been knocked out. And then you were 100% right. Like, he's obviously faster, he's obviously longer. We know all that part of it. Garul gets the takedown. He spends about 2 minutes on top. But he passes to Mount for like 2 seconds. And then right away, it's like, Ode Osborne's back inside a half guard. He's back to guard. He's back up. So it was like, oh, shit. Garul got the takedown, but Ode's actually looking good on the ground. Round ends. Garul round. Garule, however they say it on the broadcast. Garule round. But I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about it because he showed that he can hang on the ground. I need Ode to get tired now. We know he's got a gassing problem, and I need more takedowns in the second and the third round coming up. The first round seemed easy. Takedown came easy. Let's do it in the second, and nowhere to be found. Ode at this point knew this guy's going to try to take me down, and boy, oh boy, like Garule he looked stiff. He looked like he was just moving at half speed for a flyweight, but that's because Ode was just looking so goddamn sharp. And that shot that hit him just clean down the middle, Garule never saw it coming. So quality work, and disappointing. Yeah, I won the first round. Doesn't mean anything. I knew I was screwed after the first round. At least I felt there was a good chance I was screwed after the first round. But I was at least hopeful that I could get some more takedowns and make it happen, and none of that was to be. Garule's 30, turning 31. So for 125, and that's your game, I don't think he's going to have like a long go at this. And then for Ode Osborne, he snaps a 3-fight losing streak, and he shows you perfect gatekeeper. If you're legit, if you're, Abu Salayev or somebody like that, or
Almabayev.
Yeah, Almabayev. If you're legit, then you'll beat this guy. You'll find a way to beat this guy. But otherwise, it's like he's super serviceable. He's got good striking. He's got good timing. He looked like shit at the weigh-ins. That was part of the reason I felt okay about the Garule bet. Is like Ode looked awful, and then he says on the mic afterwards, like, "This is the worst weight cut of my life. My manager carried me to the cage. My manager carried me. I'm lifeless." And then he goes and he knocks my guy out. So, them's the breaks, Paul. What can you do?
Yeah. Moving on down. We were you flopped. which was a
Yeah.
nice flop. But like the entire week, everybody and their mother was lining up to bet GM3 this week. I mean, you look at the markets on this, and it's just like, congratulations on your CLV, bro. Because you know what? Brad should have been minus 300 when it moved down to minus 300 there. I got he's a tough guy to take down. Gerald lost the first 2 rounds pretty cleanly. Sure, Gerald gets round 3, but it's like you're kind of into a territory where like Brad's just kind of coasting by round 3. I don't even think Brad looked all that great. It wasn't the round 1. He looked awesome. His hands were flying. Everything was, was cooking 100%. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know how people thought Gerald wins a fight without, if he's not able to get takedowns here. 0 for 8 on takedowns. Had some control time, I suppose, against the cage. I guess the strikes look relatively close in round 2, but me watching this fight, at least through the first 2 rounds, I was just like, Brad was super easy, and all of that CLV was just bad steam this week. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, after Garule shit in the apple pie, I was like, I gotta rebuild. And then, so yeah, not rebuild everything, but you know how it is. You're chasing some action that you lost. It's degenerate gambler behavior. But yeah, and then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, Brad, pull this thing home for me. And it was all weigh-ins, That's why we do the weigh-in show. Bottom line, you don't flip-flop picks very often, but we always say, a lot of the times we would say, wait until weigh-ins, check out what they look like on the scales, and that's your final indicator of what these guys might look at like, because we've all bet stuff pre-flop, and then come weigh-ins, it's like they're dragging them out or they're looking super dehydrated. And sometimes a guy like Cody Osborne, it don't matter. Sometimes it does matter. It just kind of gives you that last bit of information before you're going into the fight. And with Gerald Meerschaert, Paul kind of touched on this. How's he going to win a fight? He either needs to take you down, or you need to have bad cardio and get tired, and then you'll fall to the ground. But you either have to have bad cardio or bad takedown defense, one of those two things. Brad, the only really 2 good qualities to him that has kept him tenured in the UFC, he got pretty good takedown defense and he's got pretty good cardio. Like, he's not gassed pretty well any of his fights. And his takedown defense is like 85% over like a 15-year UFC career. So he's definitely somebody that's shown you all the key pieces to beat a guy like Jeremy Meerschaert, but it's Brad Tavares, and he's going through the motions, and he's getting knocked out by guys like Bruno Silva, and what has he still got left? But when you saw him at the scales, 6-pack ab, 8-pack abs, really shredded, really motivated, gets work all the time in Las Vegas, got the big gold chain. His life is going well. He knows the things that he does well. He's got to beat a guy like GM3 to continue this road. And, he was capable of doing it. But we always laugh about how pillow-fisted he is and how, like, other than Phil Baroni, like, he really hasn't knocked anybody out. He hit Gerald with all of his best shots.
Especially round 1, yeah.
Round 1, yeah, definitely round 1. All of his best shots clean, on the money. Snap Gerald's head back, and then he's fine. He's fine. So 100% if you're going to bet Brad Tavares, bet him by decision is the move. And
overs.
He's not subbing anybody, and he's clearly not knocking anybody out either.
The over there, hindsight's always 20/20, but like, was never really in danger. Like, he landed absolutely his best shots.
All of them.
And Gerald didn't even really flinch. And like, it's not like Gerald is the most durable guy on the roster by any stretch. If you got some pop in those hands, he will tumble. It was maybe a bit of a missed opportunity there.
I'll tell you a missed opportunity. My buddy, and he's good buddies at Torrance Finney. He's like, man, I don't know why people hated that fight. He's like, I had the over 1.5, over 2.5 if I go the distance. And it's like, God damn it, why wasn't I on that? Like, that would have been the greatest fight in the world to watch if those are the tickets that you're holding on to, right? Who cares who wins? Who cares that nothing's happening? It's like the easiest money you'll ever get, and they were all like good prices. But coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? That's what hindsight's all about. But Brad gets the thing done, and then Korean Khabib. Let me know what you think about this one, Paul.
I mean, one, with the stats that he has, I don't think you can call yourself Korean Khabib. But I respect the hustle. I respect the grind. He's just getting reversed a little bit too much. But like great performance generally. Got 2 of 4 on takedowns, lots of control time, smashed him out in round 2. I think Cortavius was a pretty popular underdog this week, and like I didn't really see much. Like I got no investment whatsoever on this fight. Yeah, Lee proved at least that he deserves a roster spot here. Considering Cortavia's got like out wrestled by our boy Gaston Bolanos, who we were talking like we were talking about that on Dogger Pass this week. I don't know what the ceiling is for a guy like the Korean Khabib here moving forward, but hell of a second round, turned up the volume, 36 of 54, just smashed him out, looking for chokes, smashing him out. Good performance. We'll see what's next for him. I don't know. I kind of struggle to know like what the ceiling for somebody like this is. What were your thoughts?
Yeah. I don't, because he's 30 years old. Like I think, like you said, serviceable roster spot. This is the toughest division in the sport, 135. So like you may never be ranked in the top 50 ever, and you still be good. So maybe he's going to be like that level. But I like that he really sticks to the game plan. He shoots multiple takedowns. He really puts the pressure on you. He's got a really good gas tank, and he just never really stops. Like Romeus, again, it's another missed opportunity. Should have gone with Lee inside the distance for no other reason than Romeus' fight with Gaston Bolanos. He really gasses out. But Gaston's a striker, and he's got to mind his P's and Q's, and he takes him down, and grappling's his second discipline. And there's a lot of, just like spots where they're kind of connected to each other. This is a spot where it's like Romeus is 31. Dana praises him as being such a great athlete, but with that type of athleticism comes a limited gas tank, and clearly he has that. So fighting a guy like Lee that was just going to pressure him the entire time, I'll admit, and I got Lee, right? I got a Lee bet. When he keeps getting reversed, I'm thinking this guy's got low ring IQ. Like he's giving up bad positions, or he's giving up good positions to just try to advance or grab a submission. Or Romeus, meanwhile, he's doing the same thing. He'd end up on top, and then he'd grab a submission and flop to his back. It's like neither guy was fighting a great game plan. The difference is that Romeus, he really needed to get the finish because he's going to start running on fumes. He's going for the finish because he needs it. Whereas Lee's going for the finish. It doesn't matter if he ends up on his back. It doesn't matter if he falls off the top. It doesn't matter if he gives up position because he's got a deep gas tank, so he can just scramble back up and then cause you to work. And all he's doing is taxing you. He's got the gas tank to back that up. So he'll be a fun fighter that's going to be used to test guys, take them into deeper waters, present them with multiple scrambles and multiple opportunities and multiple different looks in a fight. But high ceiling, probably not. And then for Romeus, like you can't say like cut him 0-2 in the UFC, like, but I don't see anything to his game. I mean, he doesn't have great durability. He does not have great wrestling. He doesn't have good striking. He's just a good guy. That's what happens on the Contender Series is you come on and you do a story and you're like, I used to be homeless and I slept in my car. And then people generally, just like AJ Cunningham, people generally feel for you. They generally like you. They generally want you to succeed. But putting him in the UFC is almost a disservice. He's not at this level. All he's going to do is get lumped up and then get released back to the regional scene. So I don't know. Tough spot. Like I like the guy, but
30-year-old bantamweight,
31. Are you not entertained? No, watching you get your ass kicked isn't particularly all that entertaining. Like I feel for him, but I don't know. You got and he missed weight. He missed weight by like 3.5 pounds.
Yeah. So what are we supposed to do? Move you up to 145 now? Like
you're fucked at that weight class, and you're fucked at this. And then you could
say
5'4",
man. Like there's no way he can compete at 145.
It's a tough go, dude. He doesn't have many options, really.
Frankly, if you're 5'4", you should be a flyweight. But if you're missing at bantamweight, I don't know, man. And you're 31, missing a flyweight, like I think they would probably be wise to move on from the Cortavius experience at this point. And Contender Series is coming, so I wouldn't be shocked to see him get his walking papers after that. Missing weight, getting finished in the second round against Chang Ho Lee in a fight that was relatively a pick 'em. I think we've seen the ceiling, and that ceiling was the Imperato fight where he kind of just like edged it out
against look good,
against a guy that you're very familiar with. Ramon Tavares knocked him out in the first round. Like
30 seconds.
Yeah. I think we've seen enough. I think he will. I
He'll get one
mean, maybe
more.
financially not as good, but like you have a lot more success over on the regional scene, which if you're interested in, we got a big week ahead of us here, Cody.
There's lots coming up.
My God. We've got like we got ACA, we got PFL, we've got
LFA.
we've got UFC 314. And I think there's like
BFL on the Thursday.
I did say PFL,
No,
ACA.
BFL, Battlefield Fight League.
Oh, Canadian
the BFL and the PFL.
Canadian regional scene, which is
Thursday.
Cody's bread and butter. And then, actually, BFL, I believe, is on is next week.
Oh,
I know on Tapology. I know on Tapology it's listed as next week, as in not this coming Thursday, but like the week of like the 17th, 18th, 19th, whatever. That weekend. Because like if you go to their Instagram, I'm pretty sure BFL has been moved, but Unified is next week. So lots of Canadian regionals. No better time to hop on the train than right now. If you want more from us, we've been doing some good work. I mean, this week wasn't the greatest for it, but I think the reads are still pretty good in most of the spots. So yeah, there hasn't been a better time. Frankly, I've been circling like this next 2 weeks as like what's going to test our limits of how much tape study can Paul and Cody do in like a 5-day window.
Well, like there's an EFC Africa and another one of those WoW events that you like from Spain, but
yeah, WoW's back of the like I like WoW, but it's like it's back of the barrel for me this week. Like
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying we scrap those all together and we
get to it if I can.
LFA, PFL, obviously the UFC. There's just enough going on, but yeah, Pat Sabatini, second underdog pick.
Yes. Pat Sabatini, second underdog pick. I like how you just transition to mid promo to this.
Well, I run out of shit to talk about, so I'm like, "What's my?"
I know. I would have said something, but okay. This was a great underdog pick by you, to be perfectly honest. Just crushed it, really. Pillar to post, is funny. It's like as Pat Sabatini was walking in, he just looked so composed, looked so calm and cool. You know, he's just strolling, even standing up against the cage. He had who is it? Carolina. It was almost like Carolina Kovalevich, you know, with like the hands behind the back, standing there, just like I'm about to go punch somebody or take somebody down and make them humble. And other people, I'm always a little bit surprised by how I know the stats probably won't, be as, it won't sell as much about like what happened in this fight. But it's like a lot of people were kind of comparing this to the Torres Finney fight. Now it's just like I very much disagree. He knew his opponent, very dangerous on the feet, was going to cause problems from there. And he just mitigated that entirely. Sure, the significant strikes aren't impressive, but 135 total strikes. So he was staying busy. He was looking for submission attempts. And I think a lot of it for Brito, people who rep Brito, it's like, I mean, the guy just kept going for a guillotine. It's just like if you're in his corner after round 1, you go like, stop doing that. Like, you're not going to get that on Pat Sabatini in this fight. You tried it in round 1, but it's like now you guys are sweaty. Now you guys are, worked up a little bit. Like he's just begging you to go for that maneuver so he can get you to the mat, and worked over and over. But yeah, people were comparing Pat's performance to like Torres, and like I humbly disagree with that statement. Like I thought it was just an absolute clinic. He absolutely dominated pillar to post. Easy plus 175 underdog. They don't come that easy usually.
Yeah, this was definitely different than the Finney fight. The Finney fight, we won round 1. The second round we won, but it didn't feel great. And there's at least a small argument that the damage on the other side. And then the third round, he loses 100%. When it goes to decision, you're like, I got this, but I don't feel great about it. And then they announce it as a split. This was like, at no point was it ever going to be a split. Who in their right mind could have scored this for Joannis and Brito? Nobody. There's zero possible argument. Pat Sabatini does what he does. And listen, it's a tough spot because the sport is mixed martial arts. Of course, the fans, they say they want to see stand-up wars. They want to see guys stand and bang. They want to see screw the ground game, screw the grab. The second it hits the ground, all of a sudden it's boring. All of a sudden they want a stand-up. And yet Muay Thai with MMA gloves on over in One Championship is exactly what they want to see. And they do it over there. Nobody watches it. So is that even what you want? This is a game where you have to be able to do everything. And Joannis and Brito could knock Pat Sabatini stiff if this is a striking match. Pat knows it. Joannis knows it. Everybody knows it. But they expect Pat Sabatini to make this a fun fight, man. I don't want to watch this. Yeah, so he's just going to go get CTE so for your personal enjoyment. No. He's done that twice already. Did it against Damon Jackson. Did it against Diego Lopez. That's over. And I'm betting him. I'm not betting him to stand the fuck up with Joannis and Brito. I'm betting him to take this thing down. So this one really came down to tape study. You watch Pat, you know he's an elite level grappler. You watch Joe Anderson, you know he could be exploited on the ground. But there's 100% that puncher's chance. And I said that on the DOP show this week. I'm like, I'm going to take Pat Sabatini, but I could look really bad in this pick. They're not fighting 10 times. You see him dominate with his grappling 6 or 7 of those times. You could just see him get sparked in the first round, in the first minute. Diego Lopez knocks him in the first round. Damon Jackson in the first minute. Jamal Emmers is toasting him on the feet. He's not a good striker. His durability is not that good. He's in his mid-30s. There's only one way he's going to be successful, and that's stick to the game plan, shoot the takedowns. The difference between him and Finney is also Finney is a high school state champion, whereas Pat Sabatini is a D1 college wrestler. Finney is a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. Pat Sabatini is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He can get these positions and do real stuff from there. The Von Flue choke, it looked good. Do you advance positions so much you allow Brito to get up? No, I'm kicking his ass, 30-27. Will fans boo? Will people say it's boring? Will the UFC say we don't want to book this guy? I hope not, because you can't just turn guys that are career wrestlers, career grapplers into you need to stand and bang to the crowd's delight. And if that's the case, at least let me know about it beforehand. Last thing is, before that Lopez fight, Diego Lopez, I always mention this. He does this little interview. He's like, you seen how good my wrestling is? You seen how good my jiu-jitsu is? Now I'm going to show you something you haven't seen before. And it's like, oh, no, don't do that. This one, they did the little pre-fight. He's like, I'm looking forward to showing everybody why I'm the best grappler in the division. I was like, my guy. He knows. Mm-hmm. And this was clean work for a guy that Brito kept taking money on the whole time. Like, I hit Sabatini again after Gruel lost. It's like I saw it go up to eventually it was Brito minus 210 is what it went off at. Yeah.
I mean, not really. I mean, in terms of when we actually got to fight week, like it kind of hovered around plus 190, plus 190, plus 175. Most of the week.
Yeah. So about
there was
15,
action.
20 point range.
There was action probably coming in on both sides a little bit there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't look at these original openers that happened 3 weeks ago too much because it's just like, well, yeah, a lot of those lines, like we see it all the time on the regionals. It's like shorter, much shorter limits, and they're there for like 3 or 4 minutes. So there's money to be made, I suppose, in being on top or refreshing, bet online for those regionals. But it's like the window is so short and it's not gonna last very long. You're just setting the number for the powers that be. But I kind of made a little joke in the Discord last night about is that here's how the Pat Sabatini experience works, though. So I think Dan Ige is fighting on this week's card. So they're fighting around the exact same time. Pat Sabatini, great performance. He's going to win this. And then he's going to get matched up with with Dan Ige next time out. Everyone's going to convince themselves that Sabatini is going to absolutely wrestle this guy pillar to post. The matchup is perfect for that. And then Dan Ige is going to like stiff him on the first exchange. Like that's how I see these things playing out.
Well, you're not wrong, man. Like,
Because like
honestly,
that's just
Nate
how it's
Landwehr
so
could
hard to
stiff
predict.
him in the first round. Like, there's a lot
Damon
of guys.
Jackson stiffed him in the first
Yeah, there's a
round.
lot of guys that could absolutely smash him pillar to
100%.
post. But if
His grappling's great.
yeah, and I think he's starting to realize now that it's like, I just shouldn't strike with these guys very much. Just shoot the takedown, get to the ground. Like Finney. This is the best part of Finney. In the third round, they're just like, hey, enough of this horse shit. They're separating them. So they separate him. He's like, okay, ready, go. He shoots the takedown. And then a minute later, they're like, no, man, separate. And they're like, okay, fight. He shoots it. He doesn't even throw one punch and shoot the takedown. He doesn't bounce to the outside for a few seconds. They're just like, okay, go. And he just shoots immediately. Like, bro, that's sticking to the game plan. What more can I ask from a guy? So other people say it's not pretty, but it's effective. And in both cases, cashed a ticket. So I will take it. This main event, more action packed than those fights, though.
Yeah, we got Murphy, Emmett. Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna say about this main event? Murphy fights smart. He was against a tough opponent who's been to like the top of the ladder. Emmett got a few takedowns, which I would say long term maybe a little bit concerning for Emmett.
For Murphy?
Well, yeah, this or for Murphy, because like Emmett hadn't really taken anybody down in a while, but the champion just left the division. Who's really first in line at the top of the food chain up there for featherweight at this point? Ilya kind of ran through the entire division. I mean, the stats are going to paint a picture of an absolute clinic, but I think this fight was definitely closer than these stats would indicate.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. The division's kind of in a weird spot right now. You've got Lopez fighting Volkanovski, and then beyond that, Gene Silva versus Bryce Mitchell are looking as contenders, and these guys would be contenders. Yeah, I would say I actually really liked what I saw out of Lerone Murphy. It was like a very smart game plan. Showed that he could go 5, which you always liked. He has the speed, he's got the striking, but his corner kept telling him between every round, like, Lerone, you have to keep focused and just keep doing this. He did. It's hard to keep focus for a 5-minute round. It's very hard to keep focus for 15 minutes in a 3-round fight. For 5 rounds, I mean, he really just did it really well. Emmett has a college wrestling background. Emmett's from Team Alpha Male. The whole Apex was there to see Emmett. His wrestling is good. You're right. He hasn't scored more than a takedown on an opponent since he took Holtzman down 8 times back in the day. But no doubt about it, he can wrestle. And he got the 4 takedowns. But he goes 4 for 11. Lerone Murphy's takedown defense, it looked good, man. Pop the elbow up, keep balance. When he did get taken down, between the 4 takedowns, he gave up less than 4 minutes of control time. 3 minutes and 39 seconds of control time, which works out to be about 50 seconds held down for every takedown that was actually gotten. So, again, it comes down to, I think he was doing all the good things. It's actually less than that. Yeah, 4 takedowns, 3 minutes. He's like, again, you'd have to watch the fight, but it's like his ability to create space and get back up was awesome. His ability to stuff the majority of the takedowns, solid. His ability to just get back out to space, and then you outworked him. When you look at significant strikes, Murphy doubles them up 84 to 41. When you look at the total strikes, Murphy's it's 117 to 44. And everything Emmett threw was significant. He's just throwing heaters. But Murphy's working his legs, he's working his body, he's moving his feet, he's got excellent footwork, and the place is booing, right? And Dominic Cruz, who I don't rate Cruz as a commentator, like, he just kind of irks me a lot of the time. He makes a great point. He goes, you see Emmett pointing, like, fight me, and he's got his hands up, and he's pointing like, you're running away. And he goes, yes, slower fighters always accuse fighters with better footwork of running away. And he's right. It's like, just because you can't catch him doesn't mean he's running away. Yusuf Zalal, okay, well, he was running away. This is different. This is, I'm exchanging with you. You swing one, I'm gone. I hit you with 2, you swing one, I'm gone. Now, the commentators seem to think like, oh, it's hanging in the balance in the 5th round, but my boy Bisbing's like, as far as I'm concerned, I think that Emmett needs a knockout. Emmett's getting outworked. And you look at the numbers, that's exactly what's happening. Wasn't it like it was a fight of the year contender? In fact, it didn't even win fight of the night. There was no fight of the night. 4 straight Apex card or 4 straight UFC that did not have a fight of the night. So the quality of fights haven't been great. They haven't been action packed. But these guys are fighting smart. You know, you want to go watch just absolute bangers, then I think you go to the Contender Series where guys are fighting for a contract and $5,000 and it's life-changing to them. At this level, guys got to fight smart, and this is what fighting smart looks like. So Josh Emmett's 40, and honestly, it was like a motivation. I'm 33. I'm 7 years younger than him. Okay, it was a motivation of like, dude, you are not old. Nobody's old. This guy looked really good for a 4-year-old man.
Mhm.
His reflexes are fast. His speed's fast. Physically so strong. He's just tossing them. This athletic specimen. The power was there all day. Lerone just fought a really good game plan. Do not engage this man. Fight him from the outside. Move your feet. So all the credit in the world to Murphy, and still lots of credit to Josh Emmett. I don't want to fight this guy. I don't know how many guys in the division want to fight this guy. He's an absolute problem. And, you know, if Gene Silva loses to Bryce, I'd love to see Gene Silva versus Josh Emmett because they're going to stand in the pocket, right? But, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I enjoyed this main event. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was quality. But I see online people were kind of shitting on it a little bit. And I have to assume it wasn't the crowd saying boring fight, booing him, as much as they were saying UK guy beats the American guy. Everyone's cheering for Emmett. He probably had a lot of friends and family in the building. Not like he's from Vegas, but again, you know, just he's the local-ish guy. Maybe people came to support him. But they were really against Lerone Murphy and otherwise a clean performance. So can't make everybody happy, I guess.
100%. I mean, yeah, like if people, I feel like a lot of the UFC fans, the people are just maybe they should just tune into like BKFC because they would love BKFC. A lot of these like people are just like all they want to see is bodies hitting the floor and stuff. It's like BKFC is the place for you, I would say. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just like there is some a little bit more technical acumen, especially on some of these fights. Like that main event, yeah, did not deserve boos. I mean, we're in the apex too, so it's just like you got to be like, was that just like all of like Emmett's buddies? Maybe.
I have to assume because it doesn't fit anybody. I saw somebody make a comment. They're like, "Oh, getting booed at the Apex is hard times." It's like, yeah, it is. It's like staff. Are the matchmakers booing you? Is the guy holding the camera booing you? Like, who's actually in this building that's booing you? But they sell 500 tickets or 1,000 tickets, and the vast majority of them are probably Emmett's. He's 40. He's been around. He's got people that want to see him. And how many times is he going to headline an event for the UFC? So I assume it was a heavy Emmett crowd, but you couldn't hear them during the fight. You only heard them like after the fight. Like they weren't cheering him on with like a huge applause. They were just booing the other guy. So hard to say.
Screw the Apex though. Like we got to stop having regular cards there. It's cheaper for the UFC, but it's like, let's be honest. Get the show back on the road. Fights deserve to have a crowd. Like we do all this like regional stuff every single week. It's like the Octagon show from Dortmund this weekend. It's just like, yeah, there's the tension, the atmosphere, the everything about it. It's just so much. Fights need a crowd. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, it looks the same on my TV. It's just like, I think it really hurts. I think it hurts the product, and I find it's crazy that the UFC wants to hurt their product. It's fine for Contender Series. It's fine for they have other reasons to use that. They could probably use some of the stuff that they stream on Fight Pass every single week and just have them housed at the UFC Apex. I think these UFC level you fight on the regional scene in front of crowds all over the world. Some of these European guys are coming for like that Octagon card, Octagon 69 from Dortmund. It's just like it's in a real like arena that holds like 15,000 people. Like guys in KSW, they're fighting in front of 25,000 people, and then they come and they put you in a warehouse outside of Vegas. Like, I don't know, man. It's just the UFC is supposed to be the pinnacle and I feel like they're just doing their product a disservice to save a few bucks. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's
I
just
think
the
it's crazy.
branding.
I think it's crazy, bro.
I think they go on the road and they have bigger shows. They go to arenas, they go to different cities, they go to different towns, they get out and they use their premium guys, but there's still a market for the Apex. Like production wise, it looks just as good. I get that the fighters are not fighting at the same level and it's not as entertaining and you don't hear the crowd and there's not that ambiance. But if it was basically, hey, LFA is running once a week now, every single week, basically do anyways in the Apex, would anybody give a shit? It's like,
No.
no, because but it's the minor leagues.
Yeah.
Because this is the major leagues, you feel bad seeing a guy like Lerone Murphy, who's fought in an arena in Manchester, and all of a sudden fighting, in the Apex. That salty Baldiev, right? When he smacks Budai in that last round, he's tired, bro. He's tired. He hits Budai, and it's crickets. It's crickets.
Yeah.
And then Budai holds him up against the cage. If he hits Budai and that place jumped up to their feet, would that not have invigorated him? Possibly.
Maybe.
We don't know. But it is possible. You're not wrong. But to that point, though, the UFC Fight Night Moreno versus Ursig, they awarded no fight of the night because all of the fights were not particularly good. Yeah, there was a couple good finishes, Manuel Torres, Drew Dober, something like that. But as a whole, there was not a full fight that was good. And then the Edwards versus Brady card, universally panned as one of the most boring cards of the year. They did not award a fight of the night. It was a bad card. Vittori versus Doelites, all it was is complaints online. What a shitty fight this is. There was no fight of the night awarded. So 4 straight events where there's no fight of the night, it's very unusual. And whereas I think to myself, part of me thinks to myself, are the fights just not good anymore? I also think to myself, fight of the night's a $100,000 bonus because it's 250s. So not awarding a fight of the night for 4 straight events saves you $400,000, which basically funds like 3 fucking Contender Series cards. So yeah, I don't think the UFC's in a rush. It's like die for the $50,000 fight of the night bonus, chump. Like otherwise, a good fight is not a good fight anymore. Like you got to be Justin Gaethje taking brain damage in order to get a $50,000 bonus. So
Raisavi versus Black Dell over on Octagon undercard.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh! I mean, it got finished in round 2, submission for Raisavi, but my goodness, what a war!
Yeah, you see
that was round of the year, and if you don't think it's round of the year, you're a filthy casual. As I always say, if you want more from us, we're breaking down so much more every single week. Link is in the description to get on the Patreon so you can watch the content, and then on fight days we drop our actual picks for those exact cards. But the real key, the real goal is for people to watch the content. And it's very clear when you listen to us talk who we like. And yeah, make your selections. Sometimes you beat the numbers considerably by watching the show. So that's always been the goal when we started this. It's not your typical, just give straight picks immediately type of story. We'll give it to you on day. We understand not everyone's able to watch the shows and stuff like that, but yeah, the money, the insight, and the value is in actually having the time to sit down, listen to us break down all of these regional cards every single week, and there's 5 of them coming up this next week. So no better time to get it while everyone else is sweating the Masters and betting the Masters, and those markets are super efficient. We're betting ACA, baby, from Belarus. So
yeah, I'll tell you what, it's the first week in like 3 weeks where I don't have to watch any bare knuckle boxing, and I like bare knuckle boxing, but I just I'm an MMA guy. I want to break down some MMA, so I'm pumped up. As you said, BFL, I got to confirm that, but I think you could be right.
Go to their Instagram. Trust me.
I think you are right because I know some guys on the card and they've not posted anything, so I think it is next week.
No, yeah, all the websites are wrong, but if you actually go to their Instagram, but Unified is this week from Edmonton, so there is Canadian regionals this week, just not BFL. BFL will be on April 17th. So yeah, we got Canadian regionals the next 2 weeks. We got Russian MMA. We've got all this other stuff. I'm going to be in Vegas for the following week for a friend's wedding. But the show goes on. I take my camera and go on the road like when I was in Costa Rica doing shows for us. So the grind never stops here on the Bookie Beatdown YouTube, Patreon, and Discord. Let's get some bread this week, and yeah, let's get after it in a very, very busy MMA week.